Hey everybody, it's Missy again with the Shimmerz education team, and I'm back with another layout for this month. But before I get started, I wanted to remind you that when you're shopping in the Shimmerz paint store, if you mention my name when you check out, then you can receive a free product in any color you want. So that is awesome. Don't forget about that. Okay, my inspiration for this page is the Cocoa Vanilla Make-A-Wish collection. As soon as I saw this cut apart sheet, this little piece right here jumped out at me. I love the brush strokes, the white lettering, and the quote, and I thought I want to try to enlarge that and make that myself. And so it's hard to see here, but I went ahead and arranged the words in several different fonts on my white cardstock and went ahead and cut that out. And I'm going to use these two black and white pictures of my daughter, and I'm going to put them over there to the side, I think, of the quote. Now my paper is still stuck to the cutting mat there, and you can see I mixed and matched the fonts. I tried to make it close to what's on the pattern paper as possible, but the fonts are a little bit different. If you haven't seen this collection, it is so pretty. I love the colors. Every piece is just gorgeous. So I've chosen several colors that match this collection, and I've got my list here so I can let you know what colors I'm using as I go. These are all creamies and inklings. This first one is Beats Me, and it's an inklings, and these always come to you dry, and you have to add water and give them a few minutes to activate. So I'm going to do exactly like that the design that I saw on the paper and just do brush strokes. And this is a little different for me because I usually use the packaging technique, and I usually like my edges to be soft, but with these brush strokes, you know, the edges are pretty crisp. So this is totally different for me, but I love how it turns out. And I'm just doing this right on the cutting mat. I'm not using a ton of water, and so it's not going to ruin the mat in any way. I've done this technique a lot, and it always has worked out. So the orange color is a creamies, and it's called Just Peachy. I'm just adding some water and just brush stroking right over the word there. No rhyme or reason. This is really easy to do. It's a no-brainer, I think. If you've wanted to try mixed media and you like using brushes, then go for this, because as you can see here, I'm just brushing it straight on. Now this yellow color is called Daffodil, and it's creamies, and it's very light, and so I wanted to go a little bit bolder with the yellow, so I pulled out one of the original Shimmerz paints, and it's called Sunny, and it's comes to you already mixed up with water, and you just stir it up and it's ready to go. And it's got a ton of glittery substance in it, so when it dries it is super glittery and sparkly. This green is an inklings, and it's called Honeydew List. And this light blue color, a little too light for what I was going for here, but this one's called Ride the Tide, and it's creamies, and so I go over it just a little bit with Vibes Jenny B Blue just to darken it slightly. The last color is more of a navy, and this is one of the new colors. It's a creamies called Witch's Blue. And all of these colors match the paper from Cocoa Vanilla just perfectly. Now I'm going to just try to add a little variation in the pink stroke, and this is a spritz called Cotton Candy, and it's pretty light, and it didn't really do much shading, but I just thought I would try it. Okay, so I've got all the brush strokes done, and I'm going to see how that looks with my pictures. And my first thought was, I like it, but I don't know, is this going to turn out okay, or is this going to look not so great? But I keep at it. I'm going to come back in with all those colors again and add some splatters. I'm going to try to keep all the colors over each color of the where the brush stroke is. And I wasn't going to dab each and every one of those little spots there, so I'm eventually just going to lay my paper towel over it and dab it up. And I like the way it looks because it kind of lightens up all the splatters. And now comes the tedious part of peeling it off the mat. And of course, everything's still wet because I'm impatient and I couldn't wait. But it does not rip. I took my time and made sure that all the little spots and pieces came up. So now I need to back everything. I want the letters to stay white, and so I just pulled out some sheets of cardstock that I'd already cut files from previously that I saved the scraps, and I'm just going to cut them and back all of these open spots with, just using my adhesive there to glue it all down. And the back is going to look messy, but who cares, because nobody sees the back, right? And that is Scotch Quick Dry Adhesive Glue in my fine liner bottle, which I think now it's called Scotch Tacky Glue, but it's the same thing. And I get that at Michael's, and I put it in this bottle. So I've got all the words backed, and I love how that looks. I'm going to add some tissue paper behind my pictures. And I am going to come back in, see all the letters like the A's and the R's and the B. I'm going to come back in and add the little pieces back in there. And so I did that off camera because that took me a while, because some of those pieces are teeny tiny. So now everything is dry. I'm coming back in with the bits and pieces from this Cocoa Vanilla Make-A-Wish collection. I've got the vellum shapes and the die cuts. And I kind of went and added things that match the color of the brush stroke. So I add some pink flowers up at the top. Look at this pattern paper. Is this not gorgeous? I almost did not want to cut it. And I have 2 sheets of it, but oh my goodness, it's so stunning. So I've got pink on pink, the orange on orange, vice versa. That doesn't make any sense. So on and so on. And so I tried to kind of coordinate the colors. And then I'm going to tuck in a yellow flower. I didn't have a lot of yellow by itself, and so I cut one of the flowers to tuck in there over underneath the photo on the right. And now I'm going to work on my layers behind my pictures. I didn't want to do too much over on the pictures side because I've got all this beautiful color and things going on where the quote is, and so I did not want to busy up the photo side and take away from all of that beautiful goodness on the right. But I do need to have some stuff behind my pictures here, so I'm going to use some of the stickers. At this point I think I want to use this chipboard frame, but I don't wind up using it because most of it's covered up and I didn't want to waste it if I wasn't going to be able to see it, and it was too small to frame both pictures, and so I thought I would use it as a layer behind the pictures, but like I said, most of it was covered up and it's just too pretty to cover up, so I don't wind up using it. So I just kind of play around here. I've got the die cuts, the vellum pieces, a sticker sheet, and the chipboard, and several of the papers. And I do have some alpha stickers, but I don't wind up using them because I don't need a title because I already have the quote as my title here. So this is the part that took me the longest, was just going through all the little die cuts and seeing what I wanted to tuck in where, because everything is so pretty. There's so many flowers. The die cuts are beautiful. The vellum pieces are beautiful. I didn't even want to cut into this cut apart sheet, but I wanted to use that blue and white striped card as a background layer. I don't know if that pattern comes in a larger 12 by 12. If it does, I don't have it, but I wanted to have a little touch of all of these colors somewhere around the photos. And so I wanted a touch of blue. I've got some pink. And then I've got that upside down tag sticker over to the upper left. And I mainly wanted to use that for a pop of color. And I'm going to raise up my photo cluster here with some foam. And just by adding that little bit of foam, it really gives some really nice dimension without being raised up too high. And I don't want to cover up the title, but the B from Beautiful and the R from Reasons kind of get covered up a little bit, but you can still make out what it's saying. Okay, so I'm going to add in some thread. That's some yellow. I wanted to try to keep the colors close to each color stroke as possible, but that kind of goes out the window here in a little while. And that's some light blue thread down at the bottom. And I'm going to wind up going with this little sticker here that says Just Lovely, but it's really got a lot of white in it and I wanted some color behind it, so I'm going to go back to this gorgeous floral paper and kind of try to find something as a, I guess as a border to go around the sticker just to liven it up a little bit. So I'm going to use this little orange flower here and just fussy cut around it just to give the circle a little different shape and just to give it some color around it. And I like how that looks. So many flowers. I wanted to use all of them, but I didn't want, like I said before, I didn't want the left side to get too busy. And that's a little pink and white vellum tag down there underneath the pictures. And I'm going to add the Just Lovely sticker right there on top. And I like how the way I have the pictures stacked, I've got some open space right where that sticker, the circle sticker is. And so it's not detracting from the photos and it's not covering up anything important. You can still see her smiling face, and that's what's important. So I'm going to add these two little blue elements down here at the bottom because they're both the darker blue. And I'm going to start to glue everything down. And I just use my glue in the center of these flowers, and it was fine. Sometimes you can see your adhesive through the vellum, but with this you really couldn't see it at all. So the glue was not a problem. So I decided I need a pop of green up at the top, and so I'm going to add in some green thread there. And I had to fight with it, so that took me way too long. So these are some sequins from my stash. Now some of these are from my stash, but a lot of them are from Spiegel Mom's Scraps, an online store with a ton of gorgeous sequin mixes. And I stocked up on Black Friday, so visit spiegelmom.com. I believe that's the website. Spiegel Mom Scraps or spiegelmom.com, but do a search for it. She's got a ton of gorgeous sequins, and I'm just sort of adding some pink up at the top, some green on the green, some blue on the blue, just for some added sparkle and shine. Now I'm not done. I usually do my journaling at the end, but I'm going to go ahead and do my journaling because I know that that's where I want it to go. So I'm going to add that right there underneath that little pink and white tag. And the reason I went ahead and did this is because I wanted to add a little bit of paint over on the photo side. I needed some yellow, and so I didn't want to try to write over it if I could possibly avoid that. So I'm going to add some yellow right over here to this to the left of this leaf cluster. And I'm going to go back to the original Shimmerz paint, which is the sunny color, and just do a tiny bit, just so there's some yellow over there. And I'm just going to use my brush to kind of tuck it in, and then use my finger to smudge it. And some little splatters that didn't really want to just flick my brush everywhere because it would get all over my pictures. And I didn't want to get too wild with the splatters. I just wanted a little touch. And this is the Witch's Blue again. Again, just a couple of little variation in color, but nothing too dark or crazy. I did add a sequin to the little Stay Lovely circle. And I also added some thread underneath some of those vellum flowers over on the right. I added some pink thread under the pink flower at the top and some light blue underneath that blue flower by the word B. And these are just some little pieces I decided to tuck in last minute. And then I'm going to come back to the sticker sheet and add some of these little word phrase stickers down at the bottom, and they're in all different colors. And even though this tends to be a birthday line, you can still use it for a ton of things. It's not specifically birthday related. There are a lot of general type phrases and things that you could create anything with. And there are a ton of gorgeous flowers. So I am going to come back in. Oh, there's my head. I'm going to come back in and do a little bit of stitching through those little phrase stickers at the bottom, but that's the final layout. I did add a couple of more sequins in pink over on the upper right and lower left with a little bit of paper kind of added in with a little tear in the white cardstock, but I love how this turned out. I was so excited to try to recreate something that I saw on a pattern paper. So if you see something that you want to try and recreate, go for it, especially if you have your Shimmerz. You can paint it any color you want. And it was just fun to try. I like how it turned out. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Please let me know if you have any questions about anything that I did, any of these Shimmerz colors, anything at all. I'll be more than happy to answer. So make sure you visit the Shimmerz Paint store. Mention my name when you check out. Get some free product. And thank you so much for watching. And I will see you guys next time. Have a great day.